Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I remember when I was studying for my college admission in Romania a long time ago, and I was studying Romanian literature. To be more precise, I had to study something on Romanian's national poet Mihai Eminescu, and I know that I was reading some literary critics talking about his work, and over there one of the critics claimed that Eminescu, the poet, who I like very much, and he said that hope and illusion have no part in the world. So you should not have illusions or hopes. This is something that stuck in my brain because I was, what do you mean? You should not have hopes. Hope and illusion. You should get rid of these two things. Now I think Serbia did exactly that a while ago. Hope and illusions. They don't have illusions and hope. I don't know, they're kind of the same thing, I guess. But anyway, regarding Kosovo, and not Kosovo, but the honesty of the Western world. Unfortunately, they got really literally burned by the fairness of the Western countries, who are, or that are, which are inviting and trying to lure Serbia into their sphere of, may I say it, maybe crime, by maybe attacking other countries. The problem is when you have countries like, let's say, Finland, Norway, Sweden now, countries that you would consider, I consider them different than Germany or France or Great Britain, United States, because I think these countries, they have a lot of, activities lately that are, I don't think should be very proud of themselves. But hey, they have qualities and defects like all of us. But I'm talking about, I think the Nordic states are, I don't know, more impartial. They lost that with the Ukrainian war, so-called. Now, what happens here is, imagine these guys, which will be part of NATO, Sweden and Finland one day, what would they say when they will be called by the boss to attack a sovereign country? To attack, not to defend the alliance against the attacker, but to attack. Would they be okay with that? And the answer is yes, because I can't imagine the leaders of Sweden or Finland, even the dancing girl, not knowing, which is the Prime Minister of Finland, not knowing, not being aware of the recent history of NATO, which is Yugoslavia 1999, or Serbia bombardment of 1999. You want to participate in that? You will have to, part of the organization, defensive organization. So be careful with whom you associate with, because you're going to be part of the crime. Now here we have the Serbs who really want to be part, you might say, of a different kind of crime cartel, which is in the East. But hey, that's a response to the one on the West. And competition is always good. Because at least you have some demarcations somewhere. Sputnik reports that, and this is the title, West to demand Serbia recognize Kosovo if Belgrade slaps sanctions on Russia. This is what Vucic, the president of Serbia, said. This article is from today, the 8th of January 2023. So he says, if we, Serbia, cave in and we slap sanctions on Russia, which they were under pressure for about 100 days or more, then the next move will be asked to recognize Kosovo. And you say, well, you don't know that. Well, the future could be, foreseen by looking at the past, and you see a pattern, the same racket use, the same mentality, and you think, yes, probably, most likely in the future, under the same circumstances, those guys that acted like that in those circumstances will act the same way. Why? Because that's their way. Unless they change something, and they will not change something because they're winning. If they lose, you sit down and you assess. If you win, you think, well, why should I change something if everything goes well? So far European Union thinks it's winning here, but I think economically and politically is losing. But hey, see what's going on with Mr. Vucic here. The West will require the Serbian authorities to sign an agreement with the partially recognized Republic of Kosovo on its formal recognition once Belgrade agrees to impose sanctions against Russia. Serbian President Aleksandar Vucic said on Sunday. Vucic recalled that Belgrade has withstood external pressure for about 100 days, refusing to impose sanctions against Russia over the special operation in Ukraine. Now please pay attention to what Vucic will say in the next, I don't know, kind of long paragraph, and I'm quoting him. Very important. He's going to provide evidence from the past that determine him not to impose sanctions on Russia based on how they, the Serbs, were treated in numerous occasions in the past by the Western friends, partners. And I'm quoting Mr. Vucic. We handed over former Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic, no matter what we think about him. What should we have extradited the president? Why should we have extradited the president? Question mark. Did we become part of the European Union after that? No. After that, we killed our own Prime Minister, Zoran Djindjic. And again, we are not sure that this is the work of domestic forces only. Then we were told, arrest former Bosnian Serb commander Ratko Mladic, former president of the Republika Srpska of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Radovan Karadzic. So it says, we were told arrest, it's in parentheses over there, so I'm giving you who's who and what's what. Arrest Karadzic, conducted secret operations. And what did we get? Question mark. Visa liberation? Question mark. And now, if we impose sanctions on Russia, then it turns out that the time has come for an agreement with Kosovo. End quote. Vucic said on air of Serbian broadcaster. So why did you agree with that one? Why did you agree with Milosevic being handing over to those beautiful people? Then you agreed to, or whatever, we killed our own prime minister. And then what did they arrested Mladic. And then what did they get in return? This is what his question is, and he thinks that they were duped each and every time. The Serbian president suggested that Pristina, Kosovo, could be granted membership in the United Nations without formal recognition of the independence of the self-proclaimed republic by Belgrade. In October, Vucic said that Belgrade would not impose sanctions on Russia until the very existence of Serbia is threatened, seeking to pursue its own independent foreign policy and further develop relations with Moscow. At the same time, Vucic has repeatedly acknowledged over the past months that Serbia was under more pressure due to its policy towards Russia. In 2008, the Kosovo-Albanian structures in Pristina unilaterally proclaimed independence from Serbia. Since then, Kosovo has been recognized by 100 UN member states, give and take. In 2016, the EU and Kosovo signed the Stabilization and Association Agreement, which confirmed Pristina's intention to join the bloc and its readiness to carry out the required political, economic, trade and human rights reforms. In March 2022, the Kosovar parliament adopted a resolution urging the government to take all necessary steps to join NATO, the EU, the Council of Europe and other international organizations. I have some information from other kind of places about Kosovo. And if you think that Kosovo is just a beautiful land and it's all that, yeah, could be. but I have information that actually Kosovo it's kind of like a little hub of organized crime and other information coming from the Americans, that actually that's a little point where the Americans can always land and start something, including Albania, and have many more other weasels in the area. So I'm glad that Vucic has no illusions or hope on that matter. And how many times do you need to get burned until your hand or your arm melts or something to realize that those guys this is their way of acting, right? It's like in a family, you know. There's some red lines, a relationship, there's some red lines, and there's some things that, how many times do you agree to get burned? In some kind of issues, situations, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and others 0. The first one, you're out, or I'm gone. So the same here. They already, I think, they got burned in 1999. I think that should have been the end of everything. But Serbia being a small country, landlocked now, it can't do anything about it. So it has to, you know, pick and choose, and can't be a lion because it's not a lion. It has a heart of a lion, but it's not enough. And you have always to, like in a neighborhood, you need protection from other hyenas. And then you have this guy who, you know, raped you numerous times, repeatedly. Then you get the other one who didn't, or at least it's far in the past if you want to look at Soviet Union and Yugoslavia in Tito, when they had a little sour situation. But nevertheless, other than that, Russia and Serbia did not have little, you know, sparks and this kind of things. So they say, well, I'm a realist. Well, you're a realist. I hope this guy's going to be a realist, and he plays accordingly. And he looks and acts, it seems to me, like that. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.